Oh,
Yeah, hi, Dr. Mark.
oh, hi. Oh, yeah. We were just playing a disc by FIFA Corporation.
Okay.
So we waited for people to come in. It looks like people are getting in now, so we're gonna get started real quick. I'm also trying to see how we can record this event. And oh wow, this machine is telling me that the recording location is not available. Okay, make sure that's okay. All right, so we can get started now, and so we're gonna start the music. Okay, good evening, everyone. We have Ishero Joroge, we have Beatrice, we have Wycliffe Chakua. Somebody else was online, just dropped out. I don't know what's going on tonight. People are coming in and dropping out. Anyway, it's a pleasure to have you back. We have not had this webinar for 6 months now, since February, because work intensified when we started doing studio work. And 6 months is a very, very long time not to have webinars because so much happens even on a single day. And so we're not going to go back where we stopped 6 months ago. We're going to telecast ourselves to today. And I want us to speak a lot about our seminar in Nairobi, Summit, Ubrica Summit in Nairobi, coming on October 12, 2016 to October 16, 2016. The reason I want us to focus on this event is because it's in the future. What has already passed in the past is in the past. So the key is to look at what we are, where we're going in the future, where we're heading, and what we are likely to gain or win out of that. Now, the theme of the conference in Kenya is the business of health in Africa. Oh, and this is being cut down by our, the business of health in Africa. When we talk about the business of health, this is the centerpiece for Ubrica, because Ubrica is all business, it's about business of health. And we talk about health in terms of making medicines and in terms of providing medical care. And so at the center of it is the idea of building sustainable One Health communities in Africa to overcome grand challenges in global health. So that is the theme combined, the business of health in Africa, building sustainable One Health communities in Africa to overcome grand challenges in global health. This is a very long title, theme, it's mouthful, but it's very important that we all understand it. Sustainable One Health is a concept that emerged from the work we have done with Texas A&M University, and I think it will be a disservice if I don't show you what that is all about, because the idea of sustainable One Health has become so important, not only to Ubrica, but also exciting to other people in the world, to the extent that we were invited to talk about it at the TED conference just 2 weeks ago here in Texas. And I want to show you exactly what we mean by sustainable One Health so that we can see how our organization, which is Ubrica, is anchored or anchors global health, and why we are talking about overcoming grand challenges in global health. And what you have here is the presentation that I showed, or what you call the TED talk that I gave to the TED attendees in Green College. And the question we have been asking ourselves, and this is so important, that every one of us become very thoroughly aware that Ubrica is all about global health. And for the past 20 years, we have been asking ourselves, what is global health? And we have asked ourselves this question because global health is important. And the eventual answer that came out is Ubrica itself, studying for Ustawi Biomedical Research, Innovation, and Industrial Centers of Africa. Global health is important because, as we can see here, the federal government of the United States has spent close to $1 trillion since 2001 to finance global health. And yet, so many women continue to die in Africa just because they become pregnant. And pregnancy for many women in Africa is a death sentence. When a woman becomes pregnant, such as these ladies, she's not sure that she's going to make it alive. Even after being born, the chance of life beyond 1 year is only 9 out of 10. That means at least 1 out of 10 children born in Africa will die in the first year of life. Just being a baby is a death sentence in Kenya or in Africa. And you see women sometimes resort to procedures like applying shoe polish just to see if their children are going to survive. If we do not die young, we're most certain to die before the age of 50. And this has been happening because global health is elusive. We don't know what is global health. Some people think that global health is diseases traversing national boundaries, so we try to solve it by quarantine. Others think it's travel medicine, people getting on a plane and traveling to another country. Other people think it's about distributing mosquito nets to people in African continent. And all these definitions lead to massive confusion, and it is in that confusion that we are losing people. So here in Ubrica, we define global health as the health of everyone in the world. And then when we define global health as health of everyone in the world, then the next question we wondered, what exactly is global health? And we found that global health exists only as a name. And of course, you cannot imagine a person existing only as a name. A person has got a body. And it's because of this lack of knowing the body of global health that we don't know global health. Because we human beings know things by their physical features. Like we know a potato by its physical features. We know this is a potato because of what it looks like. Now, if we know things by their physical features, we ask ourselves, what would global health look like? And in our discussion, we found that in order for us to understand what global health looks physically, define what global health would do. And we said, first of all, it has to take care of health of humans. It has to take care of the health of animals, because we know animals contribute 85% of infectious diseases incidence to humans. We have to think about the environment, because we know environmental pollution and sanitation is important in human health. But much more, we have to think about money or the economy, because when people are poor, then all the diseases will come to them. And for those four elements, looking at them together, we define the functional structure of global health. And so we looked at those four elements differently. We placed them on a different platform, and you saw that animal health, human health, and environmental health is what people have always called One Health. And the idea of One Health has been around for so many decades. And then human health, environmental health, and economic health is what other people have been calling sustainability, or the triple bottom line economic theory. Now, it turns out that looking closely at those four elements of global health, or functional structure of global health, they describe two theories that are oscillating at two different energy levels, such that One Health is at one level and sustainability theory is at one. And it is in between those two energy levels that people are dying. We are losing people because we are not able to resolve this creative tension that lies in between here. And this is the work of Ubrica, to enter into this space and resolve this creative tension to create sustainable One Health. Now, it turns out that not all the four elements have got equal strength, that animal health, human health, and environmental health produce One Health, but economic health is the fourth element that ties all the other elements together to produce sustainable One Health. Now, sustainable One Health means that people already have money and they can afford to pay for the services they need, because economic development is by far the greatest cause of improvement in health. And from there, we developed the physical structure of global health, because we could now actually define what global health would look like physically. And we said that it has to have one health clinic that can provide medical care to humans. And then it has to have a retail store to create commerce that buys produce that people produce in the village, but produce in the village may not be marketable unless we improve its quality. So we have to have cooperative workshops for improving the quality of the produce. And we know that people in the village produce eggs, they produce potatoes, they produce goats, that produce milk, skin, hide, and all other kinds of stuff that can be improved and then sold through the retail network. And that happens to build the fourth element that will build the One Health. Now, we're going to look closely at what all that means. How do we make it operational? We found that we have to build a cooperative society of Ubricans, where every member in the village becomes a member of the cooperative, and through that cooperative, the members can sell their produce through retail store, and the cooperative would take a small portion of money and set it aside for medical care, such that every person in the village has access to medical care no matter his standard of living, just because he's a member of the cooperative society of Ubricans. And so we asked the architecture students of Texas A&M to design that body of global health. And this is what came out: a medical clinic right there. Then we have a retail store right there in the middle, surrounded by a series of cooperative workshops. You can see here the food cooperative, the dairy cooperative, the meat cooperative, the leather cooperative, the wood cooperative, wood storage and metal cooperative, and you can have all sorts of cooperative, a variety of cooperative, depending on where you build this. And this is a small clinic built with the retail system here with cooperative workshops, and you can see people coming to buy and sell produce, and it becomes a center of action, attracting a lot of business and making a lot of business, such that people in the village now would have money. So we call that the body of global health, that unit. And that whole unit that has got a clinic and retail store and cooperative workshop surrounding it, is the Ubrica Retail Clinical Center, or the URCC, that we intend to distribute in our country using a cooperative structure. I see somebody has raised his hand. That's Beatrice Morango, and I don't know what's going on, because I will look here to see what oh yeah, okay, she was asking us to mute everybody. I think that has been done effectively. Okay, so we found out that, well, of course we know that having a body like my body is not enough. We have to think about how the body of a human being extend itself into the immediate environment. How do we extend ourselves to the immediate environment? We have appendages like arms and legs. We have eyes that helps us to see what is going on in the environment. We have ears that helps us to listen, so that when somebody calls our name, we can respond. We have sense of taste, sense of touch that helps us to touch things that are around us, sense of pain, so that we can feel things when they are painful, and we also have sense of smell that helps us to smell stuff. Now, that is how we extend ourselves outside into the environment surrounding us. But how do we make a body such as this one, the body of global health we just saw, such as this one, to extend itself into the community? So a body like this would have community health workers, such that your senses of smell, the senses of taste, the sense of whatever, are the ones that are now represented by these ladies, go to the communities and becoming community social worker, community economic development worker, and community health worker. Now, these three the community workers, each one does something different. For example, the community social worker is listening to the social things going on in the community, collecting, listening to who who has a baby shower, who has a wedding, who has all these kind of things that cause activities in the community to increase. And then we can know what to stock in our retail store to supply goods to that social activity. And then we have a community health worker who is collecting information about health of every family. And then this person can tell which family has got a child who has got pneumonia, child has got diarrhea, child has got fever, child has got this, and all that information is known by this lady. And she also guides the mothers and the fathers and the children in that family, in the community, on how to take care of the diseases. So we can protect diseases from spreading. And then the community economic development worker would be informing people in the village of what is available at the cooperative workshops in terms of the cooperative itself, where they can sell their goods, where they can sell their milk, where they can improve the quality of the hide and skin that they're producing by bringing them to the workshop in the cooperative, in a Ubrica cooperative society. As you can see, each one of these ladies have got a cell phone. So the community social worker is collecting social data, and the community health worker is collecting health data, and the community economic development worker is collecting economic data. So that all that is built in an application we call SHIP, that stands for Social Health Economic Environmental Positioning Data. And that means that we can build common sense. Just like this SHIP, it's got the sense of eyes, sense of ears, sense of smell, the sense of touch, and we call that common sense. So for the first time, then we know we can build common sense to our global health. Okay, and then our system becomes intelligent, and the idea is to connect all these retail clinical centers, which will be first of all to distribute all of them in all the 47 counties of Kenya through the franchise model that we've been discussing about. And then we connect them to our centrally located hospitals and advanced diagnostic centers at our 430,000 Biomed City, Ubrica 1 at Suswa. And the whole system is known as Ubrica 1 project in Kenya. And it's such that now we have the clinics that are located out there in the periphery connecting directly through an information system, and also connecting horizontally to one another, creating a complete mesh network that is either based on a cellular LTE system or a VSAT, that is very small aperture technology for satellite networking, that you can have dish network and everyone is able to connect with one another, and then connected with a backbone of broadband that takes it all the way to the United States so that we can have telemedicine. So that is the vision. So we talked about resolving the human resource problem by franchising these units such that now we can take this unit and ask and invest a finance organization such as a bank to provide mortgage so that the doctor, the nurse, the clinic officer who is graduating from medical school or clinical or the School of Health Services to own this unit and take it to the village. So that's the model. And so we are working very hard to get the doctors and the clinic officers and Kenyans in Kenya to own that unit. And so we can say that we produce global health by building sustainable One Health communities. And as you can see here, that's One Health plus economic health is sustainable health community. That's the conclusion. So in this talk, we called everybody in the world to join us to let us put sustainable One Health community in every village on earth. And thank you, thank you, thank you. That was a presentation, that was a TED Talk, and I wanted to share that with you so that we can get a gist of what we mean by sustainable One Health communities. So, any questions so far? I see one question. All right. So I see that Michael Carew has joined us here. Now, the next thing we're going to talk about then, now that we have seen what we mean by sustainable One Health communities. Let's come back to our event. We're saying that our conference is about building sustainable One Health communities in Africa to overcome grand challenges in global health. Now you know where all that is coming from. It's coming from our discovery that Ubrica Retail Clinical Center is a sustainable One Health community. That is Ubrica Retail Clinical Center from a plus a cooperative people in the village all together, put together as one, become a sustainable One Health community, and all we can build, we can overcome grand challenges in global health. Okay, that said, I am going to walk us through the program of the conference so that you are all aware how the conference will roll out on that date, that week of October 12th. The first thing we're going to look at is the calendar. What is October 12th? Okay, that we need calendars as a year. So October 12th is Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. Okay, so it begins in the middle of the week and goes on for 5 days. So people probably would arrive in Nairobi on the 10th or 11th, depending on what they're looking for, and then we talk through the weekend. And on the 12th, we shall focus on Ubrica itself. But before we can even talk about Ubrica, we shall receive greetings from the University of Nairobi, who is our host in Nairobi, Kenya. So we are very lucky that we have got a host called University of Nairobi. And then we shall receive greetings from Ubrica. Each one of these greeting sessions could take an hour, depending on how many people want to speak. Then we have coffee, and then after that, we have a presentation of Landscape Master Plan by Professor Chanamli and her team from Texas A&M University. And then we have Ubrica Architecture, Ubrica One Architecture, presented by people like George Mann and Zipon Lu and other architects that may come in who have been working on this project. And then we have the presentation of the Retail Clinical Center, which we have just discussed right now. And in the afternoon, we talk about the strategy of Ubrica as developed by the Center for Health Organization Transformation here at Texas A&M. And then financing Ubrica One at 5 p.m. This is going to be the financial model, talking about the franchising system and other ways of raising money that we have engaged in so far. The second day, October 13, will be engineering and architecture, all through the engineering, architecture, and construction science. So this is where our partners from the International Union of Architects, this is a UIA public health group, and we have created a whole big page for them, International Union of Architects public health group, plus the Global University Program on Healthcare Architects, who have agreed to join us in Nairobi to co-produce this event. So we have created space for them, their teams, on this whole day, and we'll be talking about architecture and engineering and all the presentation they want to talk about. Mainly they focus on the engineering and architecture for design of hospitals and health systems, and we'll be talking about all that all day. And then in the mid-morning, we talk about the construction science. How do we construct large capital infrastructure projects such as Ubrica One, and how do we construct healthcare projects such as hospitals within Ubrica One? And then in the afternoon, we talk about management of scientific real estate. It's going to be a discussion about real estate. So for all those people who talk about real estate, let's talk about commercial real estate, residential real estate, and then the scientific real estate that includes biomedical lab, advanced biomedical labs that we're proposing at Ubrica. They will be speaking at this time. So we're going to invite people who own and manage such projects around the world to come and talk about it. And then in late afternoon, we shall talk about construction financing. How do you finance a large capital project? Say, for example, a 20-story building or a highway or a bridge. How do you finance a telecommunication infrastructure to get Ubrica network throughout the country. How do you finance large capital real estate projects, for example, the commercial real estate and other capital projects? Okay, so this is a day for the large stuff, talk about large scale infrastructure projects, engineering, and that is what we shall be talking about on the October 13th. I'm telling you these things and pay very close attention because we shall call every single Ubrican to participate in helping pull people together so that we can have a very productive event. We know that some of these spots are already taken, like engineering architecture, they're already taken by the International Union of Architects. But if there's certain areas like real estate, they are not fully taken. So if you know people who are interested in real estate, whether here in the United States or in other countries, or even in China and in Kenya itself, tell them that there are opportunities for them to come and speak at the conference and say how they can help us build this, finance this type of large capital projects. And I'm thinking, when you think about construction financing, many large organizations come to mind. Of course, here in the US, we have the International Finance Corporation, which is in Washington, D.C., the Export-Import Bank of the United States. But then you go to China, they have Export-Import Bank. And all these Export-Import Bank from other countries, like the European Export-Import Banks, they would be able to do this. And then we go down to construction companies, like the Shanghai Construction Group, which does large capital construction financing, Beijing Urban Construction Group, and the like. So keep your ears wide open and keep your eyes wide open, because you have the opportunity to invite people that you come across and tell them you're doing this conference, and if you're interested in learning how to finance projects in Africa, you come to Nairobi, particularly on October 13, but it will be interesting for them to be there for the full conference. October 14 is the day we talk about health organization. We're talking about hospitals and clinics. And we shall be speaking about specific things like quality, laboratory services, diagnostic and imaging. And this, it's where we invite the doctors, the health administrators, and nurses, and clinical officers to come and share what they know. And we're going to have a mix. We are very lucky because the Kenya Medical Association has joined hands with us. And this is the day where the Kenya Medical Association and all the other people, like the American Academy of Physician Assistants, American Medical Association, will be talking. And this is going to be a very interesting day because not only shall we be talking about the diagnostic imagings like MRIs and laboratory equipment, but we shall be talking about equipment financing. How do you finance medical equipment? And of course, there are so many people who provide equipment financing, and they either be given as loan, lease arrangements, or import credit and things like that. And so again, this, just like we talked about here, export-import banks of different countries can facilitate this type of thing, or we call them transactional financing, for making equipment available. There are also certain equipment that are so small, companies like General Electric, Philips Medical, and the like. So we want to engage as many of these companies as possible to come and talk about, first of all, the equipment, but most important, financing the equipment. Then we talk about health information system. From what you have seen on the PowerPoint, we cannot do this unless we have a very robust information system. And as you can see, to get ourselves networked vertically in this manner, we have to have a hub. This is what you would call a hub and spoke. The hub and then the spokes radiating out. But not only that, this horizontal connections creating a mesh network. Now, this kind of arrangement requires us to have somebody who is very well versed with health information system. We already have a partner coming up called the IPX, who is based here in Houston, who wants to take this space and talk about health information system, particularly from telecommunication, broadband, VSAT, and the like. And we hope that he also brings a lot more partners so that we can hear more about. And then how do you finance that? So we want also to create space for these two kind of guys, one who is providing the technology and the one who's providing the financing for the information system. And then that takes us to the next day, October 15th, where we talk about medicines, pharmaceuticals. So in the morning, we talk about research and development in pharmaceutical and then manufacture for generic drugs, and of course, here research and development includes the bioequivalence laboratories that we talked about earlier. And then we talk about pharmaceutical distribution. This is the retail system for pharmacies. And so these three topics are tied together. We are very lucky because we have our own Harriet Kamendi and Paul Watts, who you met here, and several other people who are here in the United States, like some people from Virginia Commonwealth University, who are very, very much interested in R&D for pharmaceuticals in Africa and manufacture of generics. And then distribution of pharmaceuticals will be simple, straightforward matter when we build the retail clinical centers. And then we also engage in talking about medical devices manufacturing, which there are several companies we have identified here in the United States, and we're making serious progress in contacting them so that we'll have a complete day. This is going to be another very, very exciting day, all pharmaceuticals and very, very beautiful. And then in the afternoon, we talk about financing pharmaceuticals, because as we have seen in all other areas, no point talking about things without talking about money to finance those things. So again, in this area, we also have export credit, export-import bank providing, but then we also have equity financing, debt financing, and we want to bring all those. Then finally, on day 5, we talk about what's most important to all of us. That means food, agriculture, and nutrition. Talk about food production. How do we boost food production in Africa? Remember, for those who came to our event here in Texas, we had a group from Texas Tech talking about nitrogen fertilizer, and we're bringing them back to Kenya because I think by that time they shall have finished designing their nitrogen machine, which now they can actually vent to people. Besides producing food, you have to make sure food is safe. So we talk about food safety. This food safety is a function of food processing, food packaging, and food distribution. And so that would be in the mid-morning. So that's a morning of food. And food security. How do we make sure we produce enough food for everybody? And then we talk about financing, agriculture, food, and nutrition. Okay, so I think I should do this and put financing at the bottom because the subtopic there. So as you can see, like in every other area, we are going to talk about financing food production, food processing, food security, and food safety in this session here. Then, as you all know, this conference involves a design competition, and at the afternoon of Sunday before people go home. I think by this time, those who are not interested in the design competition, we can allow them to leave, but we have design competition review and the results announced, and then people can adjust. Those are the two things I wanted to talk about today. I'm going to stop talking so that we can have an engaged discussion from everybody. That is, if I can find where people are located. Attendees. Okay. So unmute. Hi Beatrice, so you're unmuted. Gishero, hello. Hi Gishero, you're over. Beatrice raised her hand. Someone is speaking? Hi Beatrice.
Oh, hi, Dr. Mark.
Yes.
Yeah, I just want to appreciate your effort and your work. It's beautiful. It's well put together. And I just want to ask how was the response from the TED presentation, because I thought it was very well presented for me on my side, but I just wanted to know how was the response when you presented it at TED.
Oh, the response was great. First of all, the talk was very well attended. The place was full, and it spilled over to the other side, which was encouraging. And the fact that people clapped for a long time after I finished talking was good.
Okay. Wow, that's a good sign.
That's a good sign.
Yes. Uh,
And
the, the,
they were
uh,
laughing. Huh?
my other question was about the last one, the last presentation you just did about the food, because that is my most concern. It's about food,
Yes.
because I know very much food is health. For good health, we need good food. And I'm just wondering if those people who presented the ammonia are interested to come with us to Nairobi, or do we have other people who have shown the interest to be with us
Yeah.
in Nairobi?
Yes. First of all, that group that did the ammonia, this is his name is Dr. Ian Fleming, and
Mm-hmm.
I had a meeting with him in Lubbock, Texas. They are very interested to come to Nairobi and show this. But besides that, we have other people. You know, both Lubbock, that's Texas Tech, and Texas A&M, they are competitors. So, so they're competing their departments of agriculture to come to Nairobi and talk about this, which is awesome. But we also want to call everybody we know in the world who does food, agriculture, and nutrition. Several universities here, for example, University of Minnesota and University of Pennsylvania, it's called Penn State University, PSU, in middle, mid Pennsylvania, and Florida A&M, and I think University of Alabama. All these universities are big agriculture schools, and they support very large agricultural corporations, even the University of Iowa. So we want to invite people from all those places and see what they're gonna do. And then such from universities, I think all these universities are attached to very large food companies. For example, in Minnesota, we have Cargill, very huge food corporation that is attached to the University of Minnesota and is also in Kenya. And we have General Mills, which everybody takes General Mills products in this country, just like Cargill. And it's also in Minneapolis, Minnesota. And so many other smaller food companies there in Minneapolis that are based on the University of Minnesota. And so if we can get companies like that, which are very large multinational corporations, then we're gonna make a major breakthrough. We have other big companies in the United States like Monsanto in Missouri, Kansas City, Missouri, and companies like Del Monte in Florida, and in the West Coast, California, we have so many food companies. It's insane. Like if you went to University of California at Davis, UC Davis in Sacramento UC Davis is responsible for all that agriculture that you find in the northern California for food and fruit production. And so those large vineyards, and then Bakersfield, California, UC Bakersfield has also a huge agricultural program. So I'm thinking that we engage all these different groups so that we just don't have Texas universities competing. And this means that the if you went to Bakersfield, California, because Bakersfield is responsible for development of the Central Valley in California and all the food and the orchards you get over there, and that probably feeds most of the United States. And then they have Bakersfield irrigated a desert. They irrigated a complete desert. Like nothing used to grow in the Central Joaquin Valley in California until those guys came there, and they have done a fantastic job. So we want to engage all those different groups, and of course, Texas A&M is big on animal, let's say, veterinary medicine and agriculture for animal health in terms of now helping us make better better food with our animals. I'm seeing the Maasai's and the pastoralists, the Samburus, they have animals that don't produce enough milk or meat because they're so thin and they spend the whole day walking. And so they have a very minimal economic value where something partnership with A&M can be a very great help in that. So we want to, it seems to me that this day, the Agriculture Day, will be the highlight. And we have our own heavy-duty people in Kenya who are very interested in agriculture. It's just that their science never leaves the university. It just stays in the college. But definitely, we're going to put a lot of effort in getting all the food people in this world to come to this event. You know, particularly here in the United States, because we know the particular universities to target. Okay. Yeah. And they have one day. The key is that all these people, they all are attacking different aspects of health, but they never talk to one another. And because of that, they are kind of disjointed. The agriculture people never talk to hospital people, and yet they are doing healthcare, or thinking about health. Okay, Beatrice, that was a great question.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Any other question, Beatrice? Okay. No, so we're gonna go and ask. Lucy Korea is here. Hi, Lucy. Hi, Lucy. Greetings. And Lucy is not talking. Hi, Mike. And when you have Mike Carew and Wycliffe. Wycliffe kind of muted himself, or is not muted, and he's quiet on that side. Okay. So Lucy, you have muted yourself on your side. If you're talking and we. All right. Hi, Lucy. Oh. Okay. I don't know. Then we have Samuel Kamau, who is also muted. If you come to webinar and don't talk, that's not right. We have to talk to each other. Otherwise, I'll be talking to myself, which is equivalent to my own naming just by myself. Hi, Wycliffe.
Hey,
Greetings.
can you hear me?
Oh yeah, we can hear you now.
All right. First of all, I just want to commend you for the job. Yeah, I know you put in a lot of time in moving this vision forward, and we just want to say thank you. I think looking at that program for Nairobi,
Yeah.
I think if we follow it, that's the way it is. I think the only thing that we will be short of is time, because I think each of those areas that are being highlighted, I think we can have very good speakers to come in to fill those times. We just might not have enough time to fit them all in, but I think that's a good problem to have. As long as we can get them there, we
Yeah.
can work that out.
Thank you. Yeah.
So, so the other thing that I just wanted some guidance on is hopefully everybody else as well is as we are approaching. I mean, October will be here before we know it. So
Yeah.
especially those of us here in the diaspora, how can we then pull and get some of these things done? You know, can we create sessions on those who've already been making the contacts? Can we have training sessions within amongst ourselves to show us what to do so that everybody can go out there and start reaching out to the different companies and but you know, delivering that information in the manner that you would deliver. So I think that would be an area where I think we need to agree on. I'm hoping sooner rather than later, so that I think there is the effort that you're doing should not just remain on you alone, but then we can share it amongst those of us who are here and those who are planning to attend this conference back in Nairobi. Thank you.
Thank you, Wycliffe. Yes, and so that was the point that I wanted to come to. How do we get all our fellow Ubricans engaged in this? Now, every one of us knows somebody who can participate, either as a person can talk about these issues, or can invite people. So one thing is that we need to get on the phone and tell everybody in here in the diaspora and in Kenya about this event, because it's very important that we get good attendance to this event in Kenya. There are many of us who have got friends, uh, relatives, families, brothers and sisters who are specialized in these areas, whether it's food, nutrition, agriculture, pharmaceuticals, health services, engineering, architecture. Let us tell them to come out and speak. Others who are specialized in finance, whether it's construction financing, financing information systems, financing pharmaceuticals, and financing agriculture. So that's one, that every one of us has got a duty to make this conference successful, because if we are not successful, we all lose, and that's not right. So we have to stand up and invite people from all over the world. Remember, we meet a lot of people here in the United States, and on our everyday life, let us tell everybody we meet that we're going to Nairobi in October, and we want to talk about these issues. Now the program is out. Somebody can tell you, okay, what are you guys going to be talking about? We're going to be talking about building hospitals, building health systems, building pharmaceuticals, building food, agricultural, food and nutritional systems. And so this means that there is opportunity for everyone to shine. There's so many of us who are here in the United States who are studying these things in the universities where they're working. Those who wish to go to Kenya and show what they have been learning from the US. They have been learning in the US. They would like to go to Kenya. Let us encourage them to do so, and encourage them early enough. Because this conference is global, the spots are going up very, very quickly, and they're being taken up by Americans, and of course other Europeans, and of course Chinese. But that is almost the kind of scenario we had here in Texas, where the conference almost became an American conference. We don't want that. We're Ubricans, and we have to ask our people to stand up. There are also very highly talented people in Kenya who can speak. People working in the industry, people in the universities, people doing business. Let us tell them to come up, and nobody should be afraid, because this is a Ubrican conference. This is not a conference for discrimination, like mtu ni mkulima mdogo. No, it's people we know who are good, and they are doing a good job, no matter their level of education. Let them come and show what they are doing, because we are talking about bringing healthcare to the very rural areas. It's not an elitist conference. It's a conference for everybody. And then we also have the opportunities for every one of us here, every person, to participate in selling sponsorship to this conference. And if you sell sponsorship, you could get yourself a ticket by doing that to go home. Because I'll show you, this is the sponsorship manual, and I think we should share this sponsorship manual with everybody. And we developed this a long time ago, and we have different sponsorship, like the diamond sponsorship, which is $20,000. We have platinum sponsorship, which is $15,000. We have gold sponsorship, $10,000. Silver sponsorship, $5,000. Bronze sponsorship for $2,500, and exhibition for $1,200. Now, you can, if you know people here in Kenya or in Nairobi, when we're here in the United States, or in Nairobi, Kenya, or in Kenya itself, who would be interested in, for example, becoming exhibitors, bringing their products to exhibit, whether it's in pharmaceuticals. We're thinking we have pharmaceuticals, we have engineering, we have infrastructure, we have agriculture. They want to come and show off their stuff, sell them. It's gonna only cost them $1,200. If they want to get more, they can buy a diamond, and so the diamond, they will be having a logo featured on the cover of the conference brochure, one full complimentary registration. The logo will be, this diamond is the whole thing. So I encourage you to read this so that you understand how to sell a diamond. And if you sell a diamond, then you earn yourself a free ticket and full coverage for your conference to go to Kenya. So that's it. And so as you can see, the program of the conference, it appeals to different type of people who could buy. You can sell such diamonds to real estate companies, or finance companies, whether here in Kenya, or you can sell them to healthcare companies, construction companies, people who are trying to do large capital projects. And you know that these construction firms have a lot of cash, so they want people to know them, and they would like to bid for our things. So sell a diamond to them, and you get yourself a ticket home, and that is not such a bad thing. And of course, you get a ticket, and of course, you get time to, money for ticket and accommodation in Kenya. If you know pharmaceuticals, people who are in pharmaceutical business, and some of them, particularly companies from India that are trying so hard to get into Kenya, sell a diamond to them and tell them, come, you can come to the Ubrica event and display all your things. The beauty about our conference is its diversity. When you have a conference that has got engineers and architects, it has got doctors, it has got pharmaceutical scientists and food people, then it cuts across so many disciplines that people who are in financing and banking and insurance and people in construction, they also cut across all those disciplines, and they want to show their things to so many different disciplines. Even people in pharmaceuticals, how often does the pharmaceutical people meet with engineers or architects? It never happens, because it's very difficult for an engineering company to go to a pharmaceutical company, or to try and sell things to one another. But here we are creating a scenario whereby all these people are mixed together. That means it becomes very, very easy to sell. And then the other strong point for selling this is that we now have partnership with the University of Nairobi, right there. We have partnership with the International Union of Architects Public Health Group, right there. And we have a partnership with the Kenya Medical Association, the Association of Architects of Kenya, and the associations for, of the Academy of Physician Assistants in the United States, and soon American Medical Association. So it's really good to see what's going on. Okay, thank you so much, Wycliffe. That was a great question, and I hope I answered it completely. And of course, the key is that let's keep talking over the week so that we can. I think the question I did not answer is, how do you participate in selling sponsorship? What would happen if you're interested, or you know someone who's interested in doing this? We would sign an independent contractor agreement so that this person becomes has an independent contract and is selling sponsorship for Ubrica conference and then earns commission. And this means this person can be here in the United States, or this person can be in Kenya, or it can be in Europe, or wherever the person is selling sponsorship. I believe that if we get 20 to 25 people aggressively selling sponsorship, like 5 in each one of these disciplines, then we are going to make a very fantastic conference. So yeah, and it's lucrative. It's not small. It's not small potatoes. Okay, so yeah, thank you, Wycliffe.
So just a follow-up on that. So with this particular pricing for sponsorship, is it geared? It's almost, to me, I could be wrong, but it seems that it's geared towards investors here. I don't know whether there are companies in Kenya who would fork such amount of money for sponsorship, even at the display level.
Oh
I'm
yes,
not sure.
there are some companies with a lot of cash. If, if they don't, honestly, let me tell you something. Companies are, and of course, now if you want to ask people how much people have been paying for sponsorships, and you find the difference is not big between these prices that you find here and what people are paying in Nairobi for things. Nairobi is really expensive.
Okay.
It's just like
Okay.
apartment. If you get an apartment in Nairobi, 2 bedroom is about $1,500. That's the same price you pay in Minneapolis, you know. So people are used to these prices over there. It's just that maybe, and it's not all industries. There's certain particular industries, and that's why those who buy 20,000 are going to be only certain industries.
Okay.
Yeah.
And on the commission, is there like a percentage that the person makes?
Yes, let's say commission is 15%.
15%.
Yes.
Okay.
Okay. So thank you so much, Chris. And are there any other questions from the team? Hi, Cheryl.
Hey, how are you?
Good.
We are here with Virginia.
Hi, Virginia.
Hey,
Welcome back to United States.
we are glad to be back.
Yes.
Yes, and great work, Dr. Mark.
It's a work of joy. It's fun to do this.
I know. Can't wait.
Yes. Now, if you know people who would like you in Kenya to participate in promoting this conference, call them up and tell them we sign an independent contractor agreement. Or even here. Or even yourself.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Dr. Mark, did you record this?
Yes, it's all recorded. It's still recording.
Okay, because I was off and on, actually, more off than on.
Okay.
But I'll listen to it.
So the goal is for every one of us to participate in inviting people. Everyone. That way, if all of us are telling people, let's go to Nairobi, let's go to Nairobi, let's go to Nairobi, it's going to be a very, very successful event. You see? Calling people here who are here in the United States and also in Kenya. Reminding them this is the first time we're gonna, open the Ubrica to the world in Kenya. And so we have to do a very, very big very big showing.
That's right.
Yeah. Okay. So I don't know if we have any comments. Thank you so much, Ishan Virginia. And we're gonna Michael Carew is muted on his side. Hi, Michael. Michael is totally mute on his own. So, Beatrice, any final words?
Yes, I just wanted to ask if somebody find a pass in a company in Kenya, do we have a set up an account where they can deposit their sponsorship fee or something like that, or how it's gonna work?
Yeah, we have account in Commercial Bank and Family Bank. Yes, and of course.
The other, oh, okay. And the other, it's just a correction on the brochure that we are using for advertisement. The one we are using currently. Right at the bottom where it says, I don't have it right here with me, but I was checking it out this morning, and it says it has old information. Maybe probably you can update it. It's not too much.
What does it say?
Yes. It talks about what is that? And
it's one that
the registration. No, not that one. The one which is talking about the event. Yeah, that one. Just at the bottom, check at the bottom where it says registration manager and all that. I think that's information. It's old. It's the one we had last for September, for March. Yeah, right there, that one.
Okay, registration.
Yes. Go down a little bit.
Winnie Gago?
Yeah.
Oh, Winnie Gago is our she works in Nairobi office.
No, not that one. No. There was somewhere it said, I don't know if I have the right one, because it talked about myself and Miriam Musioki, and I think that one was for Texas. I checked it out this morning from Facebook. I don't know how we got it.
Okay. All right.
And I made a mistake. I forwarded it to somebody, and then that somebody caught that one too.
Okay. Let me see whether it's this one here.
And also, can you email us the whatever, what do you call it? That sponsor brochure. so that we can have it in our emails in case somebody asks, we just send it.
Yes. I should do that.
Thank you.
Okay. I'll send you the sponsor because everybody should have access to it. Okay. Well, that is good. Thank you so much, everyone. Any other questions, concerns?
Just very much that's it from my end.
Okay. Let's keep this
So this is Chako again.
Yes, I will.
So is there a way to at least set up a working committee on this? Because that way we can keep this fire moving as we move closer to October. At least we know that there are a few of us who are at least looking at it on a constant basis to help you out. I know right now I know everything is on you.
That's a good point, Wycliffe. I very much appreciate. I always forget. Okay, now you've been appointed chairman of this committee by my word. Anyway, let's form the committee, and what we'll do. Those people who are here, those people who would like to be on the committee, let's get the names, and then we get some more people. We probably need a committee of about 15 people for this to be effective. To mobilize the diaspora on this side. And when I say to mobilize the diaspora, it's just getting talking about the conference at least on a daily basis. And that's a really good point that you have brought up. We have some people who have been working already, people like SK Kimani. They have been working on different aspects, because I think how we started this, we began by looking at different groups that could come. So we started with the architects. They signed up. The International Union of Architects signed up. And so that was the committee that formed itself. And then we had pharmaceuticals, Harriet Kameli and Paul Watts in South Africa, and SK Kimani, they are driving that. So the committees that we need to form is health services, and this one for food and agriculture. So, and of course, we have several organizations here that are interested in doing this. Health services, we have the Baylor Scott and White Health System and the Cleveland Clinic System are interested in coming. And then we need to get, we haven't found anything on food. So, thank you so much, Wycliffe. I think we can get talk offline, and we get at least 5 people in each group. 1, 2, 3, 4. That means 20 people. Yeah. 20 people. And the work is to drive the traffic to Nairobi in October in all these areas. All right. And then we every week we meet, and we on Saturday night to talk about what each committee has accomplished. Okay? Thank you so much, Wycliffe. I think that's awesome. What you suggested. Any other comments, questions? No. There being no other comments or questions, this event is adjourned, and we are going to call this off. Thank you so much, everybody, for coming. Really appreciate. I think we have done really great. So far, so good. So many people have come to help us. Now it's our turn to take this baby home. Thank you. So the webinar is closed.
Thank you.